Hey y'all. Um, I don't know who was waiting the app time or if it just said someone was waiting, but that was the problem with the app stream. But I got it fixed now. Anyway, that's what happened with that. If you ever felt like that, I don't know, but I've been feeling like that. I've been more sensitive to that, especially when I've been getting revelations for my book. Have been started writing and it's finished it and had gotten and had not gotten the other piece of my book, the other revelation from God, then my book would be unfinished. But that is that's just how I feel. And as I remember, in the waiting, God's always working. No waiting in the presence of God is fruitless to you. You just need you to be patient. But today's sermon, that you can probably guess, is read the relevance in God murder, specifically Exodus 20:13. Again, that's Exodus chapter 20, verse 13. Now, on the surface, it seems straightforward. I'll get into the other translations in a minute. But on the surface, it seems straightforward. You sound on murder. Well, the relevant to that seems to be, well, yeah, if everyone just ran around murdering everybody, I mean, we'd have abdo chaos in the society. But as the description also says, this is controversial, but not for the reason you're probably thinking. Yeah, I can say I'd go into the different candies in this. Which I've only found one different candies and it's pretty straightforward both ways. Only two ways you could really take this. But another way to translate it is you shall not kill. Now, even though I think you shall not murder had a little bit yes nuance to it, a little bit yes wiggle room. You know, actually says beyond a shadow of doubt what the commandment was meaning, even if you do take it the way of, oh, you shall not kill, don't kill. Well, it's kind of a moot point either way because we see in um, we see in verses following scripture from that, even hundreds of years later, we see that God calls people to kill. God calls people to kill the ungodly. God calls people to wipe out the ungodly. God calls just all that. God calls for righteous killing, not murder for no reason, like this verse said, do not do. But God does call for righteous killing. But yeah, I can say that's where the controversy comes in. Now, this may be a little bit hard to believe, but did you know that say someone murders another person, or say someone murders a whole gaggle of people, and they're on death row. They're on death row by the state. It Death row doesn't happen immediately, by the way. which is crazy to me. But in some cases, it's years and years of waiting on the death sentence. There are people who actually protest that and use this verse who actually this verse says do not murder. So be people who actually misappropriate that. They do not murder. It's not gonna bring them back. It's not gonna do anything for that. Well, that's what we call manipulating scripts for your own ends. Now, death sentences as appointed by the state, we could get into at another time if you want to. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. But, you know, they act for mercy. They act in a roundabout way. They act for mercy. They say, hey, do not murder. You don't kill. Yeah, taking one life will bring another one back. Taking vengeance or taking revenge, which that's not, which that's not revenge or vengeance, that's justice. But they say taking revenge or justice, in their mind, that's what it is. Won't bring the other party back. Just like there was I don't know how many of you actually followed this, but there was a prayer delivered, a prayer delivered on one of President Trump's first days in office, a prayer delivered by a woman that 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 basically said, "Oh, have mercy," and these scriptures, it's another case of manipulating scripture for your own and these scriptures. The scripture said, "Hey, so mercy, there's not all not all eagles, not all aliens committed committed murders, and there was some stuff about LGBTQ in the beginning, and that they're fearful, and that they're trans people and gay people and lesbian, they're fearful. And by the way, there's no such thing as really a trans kid. They've just been groomed in that way. But let's go into that. Let's go into mercy. Because mercy is one of the big throughout the whole gospel. But let's go into mercy. Like I say, that's the big reason. That's the big thing they're asking for when they say, when they stand outside, when people stand outside of prison, outside of whatever have you and everything, and call for not murdering, call for not taking vengeance, call for not taking vengeance, not taking revenge in their eyes. They're calling for mercy. But let's go into that. Let's go into mercy a bit. Now, the easiest thing you could say, well, Christ was merciful. Christ was merciful to us. Well, yes, but not mercy in the way. Not mercy in the way that you're probably thinking. It's true that Christ did die for us. Christ did die for us. His sacrifice is available to everyone. His mercy and grace is available to everyone. But that doesn't mean that mercy is applicable to everyone. that doesn't mean everyone's going to be a recipient of that mercy and grace. Only those, yeah, basically, you can't give like hell. And at the end of your life, say, "Oh, Christ died for me, and Christ died on the cross. It's mercy I could get in. I could get in heaven, so it doesn't matter." That was that was probably a better way to say that, but anyway, hopefully you got what I was saying. You can't give like hell and just be expectant of of God's mercy, of God's grace. I mean, only those who've been obedient and those who follow Christ and those who call on the name of Christ to be saved and recognize that sinful nature can be saved, can be a recipient of that mercy, recipient of that grace. And another thing, mercy doesn't void consequence. Now, eternity, you could say, well, Christ dies as Christian, so eternity mercy voids consequence, but in the mortal, in the mortal immediate realm, mercy does not void consequence at all. I mean, there has to be, I mean, even divinely or not, there has to be, there has to be some sort of punishment. There has to be some sort of, there has to be some sort of retribution. And also, why someone receives mercy a lot of times, which Christ's sacrifice would be the exception. But why someone receives mercy and they receive grace the other times is they're somewhat remorseful. They're somewhat remorseful of the accident and they wanna change, they wanna get better. Well, this is just asking for mercy without a reason. Mercy because it's easier to comprehend just blanket mercy for everyone as opposed to mercy and grace for those who actually seek it. God gave us mercy, but God also gave us a justice system. And since if we gave mercy to everyone and we voided the consequences for everyone, which is really what they're asking to avoid consequences, and we voided the consequences for everyone, then there'd be no need for the justice system. There'd be no need for people to follow the laws. There'd be no need for there'd be no need for any of that because mercy would just be flowing like a fool's, flowing like words from a fool's mouth. But like I say, mercy is only for those who overall in mercy of Christ. For sure. Christ's sacrifice is available to everyone. But that doesn't mean that everyone is going to inherit that mercy and everyone is going to inherit that grace. Only those who seek it. Guys, that can be. Why I'm saying this is, like I say, mercy is one of the most misused and misappropriated things in the whole gospel. I mean, especially by those who aren't Christian, which supposedly this woman was, supposedly this woman was Christian. She was she was killed, I guess. But but she was also gay, so I take that with a pinch of salt. But but the mercy is only applicable to those who seek it, and that's why you had to be vigilant. You had to be sensible, and you had to say, okay, wait, do I deserve mercy? Which mercy can be given even if you don't deserve it. I'm not saying it can't, but did I do something that requires mercy? Do I need to change my behavior? Do I need to repent? Do I need to face the consequences of my actions? I appreciate the mercy, but I do need to face the consequences of my actions, whether that be rape, whether that be murder, whether that be anything that these egos are charged with, and a big reason why Trump wants to get them out of the country. So yeah, they need to face consequences and remorse and mercy all the time just go hand in hand. Guys, I love you. God bless you. And I'll see you whenever Jesus appoints it.